You're watching Service Drive, exclusively on CBT News.
If your service department feels chaotic, it could be a process problem. So how do you bring order back to the shop and ultimately drive more efficiency and growth? Today we're getting recommendations from Don Andres, who is the author of Why Auto Service Departments Fail to Grow and owner of SCT Consulting and Training, one of the best fixed ops trainers in the business. Don, thank you so much for joining us once again here at Service Drive on CBT News.
Always fun to get together with you. We seem to always hit the mark with our subject matters. So thank you for the invite.
Yep, absolutely. So you've spent a lot of time in dealerships. You describe dispatch as the hub of the service department. What does that mean in practice?
Yeah, so it turns out that once the RO is generated, once that engagement is done with the customer itself, and now it's going to move into the shop, that's where we lose control of the repair order. I've had the luxury of being able to get around to a lot of Ford dealerships, thanks to them inviting me to go do nothing more than review process at a number of their stores. You have open repair order lists is usually an indicator that there's a process issue. You get in there, sure. And sure enough, it gets into the shop. The RO's repair orders dispatched into the shop, and it disappears. It disappears. It's landed somewhere, and when it's done, it's done. Right. And so we see a lot of lost productivity.
Yeah, sure. How common is this? How often do you see this dispatch process overlooked?
Yeah, not valued enough is a great way to say that. That's exactly right. Overlooked and not valued. I'm not exaggerating when I say probably 70% of the time, 80% of the time.
Okay, that's a problem. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. What we do is we end up in many cases leaving it for the technician to decide how fast that repair order is going to move through the shop. And we know that because in just walking the shop, I engage with the technicians, and what do I find? I might find 6, 8, 10, 12 repair orders sitting on their box or their bench. And and I'll say, tell me what's happening here. Oh yeah, that's my workload. And I says, how many of them are waiting to get diagnosed? A few. How many are waiting on parts? Oh, quite a few. How many are waiting for authorization? Oh yeah, I got those too. They don't actually know.
Oh, wow. That's not good. That's not good. So how does the breakdown impact technician productivity? I mean, or morale for that matter?
Wes, that's a great question. For no other reason than they always come in every morning with a plan. So, if work is slow and there aren't many repair orders, you're right. Techs are a little panicked about, do I have enough work today to keep me busy?
Yeah.
But in most shops today, we see there's enough work, and so these ROs land on the bench. So they come in the morning with a plan. They go, let me just finish up this job that's in my bay, and then he's looking at his half dozen repair orders and deciding what he wants to bring in next. If it's something maybe a difficult job, guess what? He might have put that to the side and know that let me get a couple of these done first, and I'll go back to the difficult one. And in every case, he's deciding how that day's going to go. Wow. So now it starts. But invariably, the dispatch system is going to get new repair orders. They're going to come in with whatever problems that repairer has. Hey, this gentleman decided he wanted to wait. This client needs the vehicle by 11 o'clock. Yeah. And so suddenly they're stopping what they're doing and now injecting this new repair order that has just shown up. And so at the end of the day, he looks back and he realized he didn't get close to his original plan of how he was going to move through what it was, actual customer vehicles in the shop.
And on the advisor side, how does this affect communication with customers?
Yeah, that's where it really is a problem. Because the advisor doesn't know when his vehicle is going to get in, get it properly diagnosed, and then ultimately when all the parts are here, get done, they're constantly having to check on their work. And so a good dispatch system would, like we talked about, might know that information, but a vast majority just, they drift into the shop and they interrupt the tech, by the way, who's got his head under the hood, and or she's got her head working hard on trying to diagnose something. And we see more females today, technicians. I love that. But the end result is they get interrupted.
Okay.
And they say, hey, how's it going with this one? Well, which one is that?
Yeah.
It's the blue F-150. Great. And he goes over to his bench. He sifts through his repair orders. Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah, I think all the parts are here. I'll try to get to that this afternoon if everything goes well. Oh, okay. So he didn't get any firm answer.
Right,
He didn't get
right.
what he really was looking for, what the customer was asking,
Of
which
course.
is, hey, when do you think the car's going to get done, right?
Right.
And so he goes back to the customer on the phone. And he says, yeah, they're working on it.
Yeah.
We'll try to have it this afternoon.
Yep.
I'll try to let you know.
Right.
So it was super ambiguous, right?
Yeah.
What
That's
does that
crazy.
do, Jim? That literally puts anxiety into the customer. Their lives revolve around this vehicle.
Yeah.
So now what do? In a panic, I'll just check in a couple hours.
Yep. They call
And
back.
now I have status calls.
Yep.
I have my status calls now coming in.
Yep.
And the end result is that the vicious circle continues.
Yep.
Status calls, let me check on the car, and a vast number of interruptions. If you can multiply by 3 or 4,
Oh, of course.
God forbid,
Yeah, of course.
6 technicians.
Yeah.
So
All right. So then what does a well-run dispatch process actually look like day to day from your perspective?
So there's many varieties of dispatch, right? We have the traditional central dispatch where an individual is getting the repair orders. We have electronic. Electronic is going to look at the quality of the repair and match it up with the technical abilities of that technician.
Mm-hmm.
We have simple groups where the writer might be dispatching to his 3, 4, or 5 technicians or lateral space. Lots of different ways to dispatch. In all of them, it has to have a central theme that says, I'm never going to lose control of the repair order. I want to know where in that process is that. I don't need to dispatch too much work to a technician that he now has to, part of his day has to be to figure out how to get it all done.
Right.
So we want a system that keeps the repair orders in control, hands them as we need them, and in fact, is always one job ahead of that technician, so that 1, he doesn't have to worry, and 2, they know when the parts are here, they know when the authorization is, and they're now handing that repair order out to that technician with all of the things he needs to be successful. So guess what he's never doing? He's never not being productive.
Right.
So that's the pure essence of that hub of that dispatch system. Now, when that's happening, you have the advisor that no longer has to go to the technician. Parts no longer has to go to the technician to do anything. They just give all that information to the actual dispatch system. Dispatcher has all those answers. It knows that that's going to be the technician's next job, knows how much time that technician's got left on the job he's working on. So he can give a pretty good estimated time of completion.
Sure.
Why? Because he has all the answers. So now the writer got the answer they need. They went back to the customer and said, I'm projecting 4 o'clock today. How does that work into your schedule? 4 o'clock would be great. Great. We'll talk. If it's done sooner, I'll call you. Otherwise, you can plan on. Why? Because it was real information.
Right. That's the key. Does this also help reduce those constant inbound status check calls from the customers? I would imagine it does.
It really does, right? The nemesis of a service department. I get into stores, Jim, you're not going to believe this. The morning has some, the afternoon, it's not uncommon to see 60-70% of the phone calls coming into the service drive are checking on their car. The most unproductive thing a service advisor can do is to have to deal with that.
It's the worst.
That phone call, right? And so when we have a very structured process, yes, I get that answer in one question from the most important part of the process, that hub. I can go back and feel confident that this is how it's going to play out. And by the way, those times when it changes, those times when things all of a sudden didn't go as well on the previous vehicle that he's working on, I can move that. I can move that estimated time of completion, and a customer accepts that. That is the reality of fixing cars sometimes. It doesn't go as we planned. But we do that well in advance. So I can see that train wreck that's going to happen at 4 o'clock today.
Right.
That's when I promised that customer. But here at noon, I'm already seeing that train wreck happening. So at noon, I'm saying, I know I told you 4 o'clock, things aren't moving as well as we thought. My new estimated time completion is blank time, and they get it. They understand it. And so guess what happens? We don't have status calls.
Yeah. And it makes the life of both the advisor and the technician much easier. I mean, right?
You've had Telly on before, and Telly's, it's all about the hours,
Yeah.
right? So it isn't long when as a service manager, when you have that mindset to go and look at your shop and realize, oh, they're not turning hours right now. They're at the parts counter. They're
Right.
getting interrupted. They're doing all these things because these writers are just trying to get through the day. Advisors are just trying to get through the day.
Right.
They've made commitments that are unrealistic.
Sure.
And now they're just trying to get through the day, all because of this lack of information. So, yeah, I think that the hub, the thing that's not valued enough in our industry is what is our dispatch system? And then how much does it have all the control of that repair order moving through the shop?
That's right. That's right. Dealers and fixed ops directors. This is important. Check this out in your stores today. Go through the system. Go look at the process, the current process. Don brings up a lot of very good points here that could be happening right now in your store. Based on his numbers, it probably is happening right now at your store. And this could be a real bottleneck, and it gets everybody frustrated, the service advisor, and more importantly, the customer. Customers don't want to be continually calling back in. Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? Is it ready? I mean, come on, this is 2026, you know? We got to.
Yeah, and if an advisor doesn't have the answer, guess what they do? They avoid the call.
Yeah.
They avoid the call.
Yes, they
and
do.
So it goes to voicemail. And all you have to do is,
that's the worst.
and this is a great place to start.
Yeah.
Jim, you'll appreciate this. This is as good of a place to start in trying to understand where you're at today. Is to just simply talk to your BDC, talk to your operator, ask them, give them a little tick sheet and say, look, do me a favor today. Every time it's a status call, will you just make a little tick mark? And at the end of the day, just count how many that was. It'll be a little bit disappointing in the beginning, but it's a great starting point.
Yeah.
I want the tech to turn hours, and anything I can do to keep them on task. And then you're right, give the customers some type of a realistic estimated time completion. I'm going to have a good day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have a stress-free day.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Man, great show, Don. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Don Andres, author and owner and president of Auto SCT Consulting and Training. As I said earlier, one of the best in the business for dealers. If you want to get your shop in shape, Don's a great place to start. So thank you so much for joining me, Don. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for the invite. Always fun to have time with you.
Thank you. Very cool.
Thanks for watching Service Drive, exclusively on CBT News.